What? Good evening, everyone! Welcome back sa Christian Sunday Dialogue. We do this weekly to learn from our fellow Christians about their walk with Jesus Christ from before, from their life before to their lives now. Ayan. And Kuya Jesse will be our host. Kuya Jesse.
Hi! Okay. Am I the host tonight? Anyway, yes, welcome once again to another episode of Christian Dialogue where we get to talk to fellow Christians. Okay, to our fellow Christians, some of you might be familiar with them, especially if you're watching Daily Hours. And tonight, one of our brother is from Daily Hours. Ayan, nakita nyo naman dito sa baba. I think nakalagay na dito sa baba kung sino ang ating kakausapin at interviewin sa gabing ito. And that is none other than Ezra. Again, this is very important, and this is where we get to learn from them as well how they apply the words in their lives, how Jesus has transformed them, and so on. So for tonight, papasa ko na kay Josh and Casimir, and of course, kay Ezra to welcome all of them here in this platform. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So hindi ko na po papatagalin, simulan na natin agad-agadan. Okay. So Ezra, thank you for joining us and for your time, for giving your time to be part of this Christian dialogue. So initial question, of course, kindly introduce yourself. Tell us something about yourself, and after that, tell us about your faith journey, and then from that, proceed na rin sina Josh and Casimir for further questions regarding your faith. Again, magandang gabi po sa lahat ng mga kaibigan natin, mga kapatid na nanonood ngayon at nakikinig. And I hope that if you have questions as well, you can ask, you may do so. And comment lang kayo dyan sa ating comment section. God bless and good evening. Ezra, take it away, brother. Go ahead.
All right. So, hello guys. I'm Ezra Valdez, and I'm from Baguio City now. And a little about me is that medyo nung bata ako, mga grade school ako, medyo matigas yung ulo ko. And then somehow I was bullied as well when I was at grade school. No, from transitioning sa high school, yun na yung medyo mas naging hard-headed and curious ako sa mga bagay-bagay. Then when I see a thing from the adults na ine-enjoy nila, mas nagiging ko siya, mas gusto ko siyang gawin kahit hindi pa pwede sa akin. Nakikita ko sila nagbibisyo, ganyan, umiinom, gusto ko na rin gawin yun, nagko-computer, okay, gusto ko na rin, ganyan. Hanggat sa, yung nag-high school ako first year, unti-unti ko siyang nararanasan. Like, syempre, I'm so curious. So, trinay ko na rin mag-yosi, computer, and then uminom ng alak, ganun. At the early age, I think grade 6 yata naranasan ko na uminom, tsaka mag-yosi. And then, yun, naging cycle na siya nung high school ako. Kasi nga, parang ang cool nila tingnan. Cool kid ba? Yeah, so, yun. And then, nung na-immerse ako sa ganong surrounding, napapabayaan ko na yung pag-aaral ko. So parang ayoko na mag-aral. Nag-enjoy na ako mag-yosi, uminom, mabarkada, mag-computer na lang, ganyan. So ayoko na mag-aral, parang ganyan. So umabot na ako ng first year. Tapos nag-second year ako pero nag-drop out na ako kasi yun nga, wala na parang ni-escape ko na yung mga classes ko, ganyan. Yung mga grades ko, pinapakiusapan na lang, mga special project, ganyan. Tapos yung mom ko pinatawag sa nagalit na ako. Sabi ko, ayoko na mag-aaral, nakakaya, ganyan. Tapos yun, di hinayaan nila yung decision ko na yun. Tapos, ayun, nag-drop out ako hanggat sa, ginawa ko na ako lahat ng gusto ko. Tapos hanggat sa nagsawa ako sa ginagawa yun, and then yung physical ko, sobrang payat ko, yung parang addict na yung tingin. Sabi ko, hindi po pwede to. So, nag-decide ako mag-aral ulit. Pero napunta na ako sa ibang place, which is sa Mindoro. Tapos, long story, ba't napunta ako doon? Pero yes, it's a province, no? So, doon nagstay ako hanggat sa matapos ko yung high school ko. And then, every vacation, pupunta ako sa Boracay para mag-work. Nag-visit ako doon para henna or somewhat maging marketing dun sa henna booth namin. So, nag-aalok-alok, ganyan. And then, tinapos ko dun. Ang dami kong natutunan dun sa province. Though still yung vision dun pa rin. Tapos, dun ko natutunan paano mamuhay na yung simpleng buhay. Yung di bomba yung tubig, yung apoy nyo, kahoy, ikaw naglilinis ng bahay. Kasi yung tatay-tatayan ko, farmer siya. So, ako lahat nag-aasika. Hindi. Sige na, sige. Ako nag-aasikaso sa bahay. Kumbaga dito sa situation ko sa city, before yung mom ko yung nag-aasikaso, pero dun sa province, baligtad. Kasi sila yung pupunta ng maagang-maaga sa bukid, ikaw yung mag-aasikaso sa kanila. So yun, naging baligtad yung situation ko dun, pero ang dami kong natutunan. Which is naging humble ako na dapat hindi ka ganyan. Yeah. And then, doon naman na mulat ako sa Boracay. Yun na naman sa ginagawa ng mga adults, nag-upgrade na yung mga party, ganyan. So, money, ang daling magkapera kasi. Onting galaw mo lang, ganyan, may pera ka na. So, sabi ko, babalik ako dito pagka-graduate ko ng high school. So, pagka-graduate ko ng high school, pumunta ako dun. Tapos nag-work na ako as yung tattoo artist. Pero yun kasi yung tattooing is that, lang siya, seasonal. So may season na walang tao, konti yung customers. So kailangan ko mag-switch ng work. So nag-switch ako ng work dun is tour guide. So naging tour guide ako. And then, yun, may pera ako, ang saya-saya ko, ginagawa ko lahat ng gusto ko, ganyan. Hindi ako reliant sa mga parents ko. Siyempre kasi ang role nila, magbisyo ka daw pag may pera ka. So, pinanindigan ko yun, may pera ako eh. Sabi ko, kaya, ginawa ko na lahat. Tapos, yun, I made it for 1 year. Hanggat sabi ko, ito na ba yung buhay? This is what money can do, kumbaga, for you. Tapos, sabi ko, hindi ulit pwedeng ganito. So, na-stuck up na naman ako. And then, tinitignan ko yung mga moments na pinaggagawa ko. Nakakaya, sabi ko. Parang ayoko nang ulitin. Or somewhat, hindi naman nakakatuwa kasi yun, may mga experiences, bad experiences na akala mo masaya pero kung binalikan mo, hindi pala, nakakalungkot. Tsaka dapat hindi ko ginawa yun. And then, sabi ko, hindi pang habang buhay itong trabaho ko. Tapos wala pa akong natatapos. Sabi ko, balik na ako ng Baguio. So, ayun, nag-decide na akong bumalik ng Baguio. Pero hindi ko alam. Pagdating ko kasi ng Baguio, wala akong trabaho. And then naubos na rin yung pera ko. Hindi ko anong gagawin ko dito. Tapos nasanay pa naman ako na may pera. Na grabe, parang dito ako sa bahay. Nahihiya ako manghinga sa parents ko ng pamasahe, ganyan. Kasi pinanindigan ko na, may trabaho na ako, I'm free, ganyan. Tapos ngayon, manghihingi ako. So, ayun. Wala akong pera. Irritated ako. Alam naman natin yan pag walang pera, di ba? So, ayun. Ano nang gagawin ko, sabi ko. And then, luckily, naalala ko lang, punta lang sa isip ko na tinanong ko yung ate ko kasi of all my siblings, siya talaga yung who stand firm in faith. Parang lahat kami may pinagdaanan with regards of worldly things. Pero she stand firm sa faith. So nilapitan ko siya and then tinanong ko, ate, may VBS sa Midtown, sa church namin before. Tapos yun, natuwa siya, sabi niya, meron, ask ko agad. Inas niya na sila, Kuya Jesse, ganyan. Na meron daw, pwede daw akong maging counselor. And looking back, actually nabaptize ako nung 2009. Pero yun kasi forced baptism. Parang yung sa katigasan ng ulo ko, sige magpabaptize ka, baka sakaling bumuti or maging mabuting tao ka. Pero hindi nangyari. I went still on my decisions and my will. Kaya yun. And then doon lang sa simple question ko sa ate ko na, ate, may VBS, pwede akong mag-join. Kasi naalala ko din nung bata ko na sama ako sa church, na nagjo-join din ng mga VBS. Tapos, syempre natutuwa. Actually, sa VBS, kilala akong terror na bata kasi parang the whole week, parang wala akong problemang, actually, parang laging may problema tapos dahil sa akin yun. So, nakilala ako ng mga counselors dati. And then, yeah. Then, nung pagpasok ko sa church, nung sinabing pwede ako mag-join, grabe, hindi ko yung ngiti na nakikita ko dun kung nasan ako nun sa mga, ano yun, sa bar, kung sino yung mga nakakasalamuha ko, yung mga ngiti ng mga YP, young people and young adults, as they serve their kids, as they prepare for the Vives, man, it's really amazing to see. Kasi wow, I mean, hindi, ano to kumbaga hindi pera yung usapan or anong benefit nila dito. Wala they're just doing this to serve, walang kapalit. So, wow, sabi ko, there is a place like this within the world na narrow lang yung view ko na ganito yung mundo. So, yun no, amaze ako dun. And yeah, doon na yung nag-start yung nag-start yung journey ko na, "Woo, I should join them." So unti-unti nagpakilala ko, and then nag-enroll na rin ako for college. Tapos yung kasi nun, yung mga adults na nakakasalamuha ko sabi nila, "Bakit ka kasi magka-college or mag-aaral kung after din lang magtratrabaho ka? Ba't di ka na lang magtrabaho at magsimula ipon ngayon?" So yun yung naging mindset ko at first nung nasa Boracay ako, pero nung bumalik ako sa pag-aaral, napakasaya palang mag-aaral. Then, sabi ko, I hope mas maaga sana ako nag-aaral ganyan. Pero, buti na lang, it's not yet too late for everyone who wants to decide to study. Go lang po. It's not yet too late. So, ayun. And then, great encouragement then nung I was walking in faith. Parang join lang ako ng join, ganyan. Parang ang saya kasi makasama ng mga God's people Parang hindi ko 'to naranasan sa mundo ko yung mga totoong tao. They will stay beside you. Tapos ang pinaka-ano pa nun is they accepted me gladly without knowing who I am. Para sa akin ang dugyot-dugyot ko kung ikukumpara sa inyo or ang dumi-dumi kong tao, ganyan. Pero they accepted me of the way, who I am kumbaga. So dun nahulog yung I really felt love in love with Christian faith. So ayun na. And then nag-push through na nun nung nilapitan ako ni Kuya Jesse. Sabi niya, "Bro, baka baka pwede kang maging leader." Tapos nagulat ako kasi, "Bro, kilala mo ako? Alam mo yung background ko, ganyan. Bakit mo ako gagawing leader?" Siyempre, hindi ko na rin alam kung ano yung sasabihin ko. Basta nag-oo na lang din ako. So with that decision, pinanindigan ko na magiging leader ako of the youth. So at those times na nag-start na ako, I was walking, there's a great struggle The way you wanted to be strong in faith, the temptation grows stronger as well. Siyempre, may mga times na nag-a-attend ako, andun pa rin yung bisyo ko, hindi ko sila maiwasan. Minsan, nahihiyaya pa rin ng barkada. Nagsisisi ako. Tapos minsan, nahihiya na rin ako humarap sa mga YP. Kasi alam ko sa sarili ko, parang magfa-facilitate ka, katapos mo lang mag-yosi. Ano ba naman yan? Parang ganun. So, nadadown ako, sabi ko, parang hindi ako karapat-dapat. Ganun. Buti na lang, hindi yun yung naging decision ko. Ang naging decision ko is, i-cut ko lahat ng bisyo ko. Yung mga tropa na magsasabing punta kami ng ganito, iwasan ko na. So, ayun yung ginawa ko. Naglalakad ako sa session route. Sabi ko, wala, kailangan ko na itigil lahat ng bisyo ko. Or kung gusto ko man maging Kristiyano, dapat Kristiyano talaga ako. So, doon na. Nag-start talaga yung walk ko. Though still, there are struggles that I faced and mistakes that I've made. But I wanted to grow stronger, kaya nag-decide na rin ako na pumunta ng CB. I wanted to focus, I wanted to learn about God all the more and equip myself. Tapos I was just really amazed how God fix or how my life transitioned from this person to this person. And where I am right now, it's just amazing. If I'm going to remember, actually, tears will naturally flow kung nire-remember ko how God was graceful and merciful towards me and bringing me to where I am right now. So, yeah, that's what I can share kasi yun nga. Baka may mga questions pa. Yes, thank you.
Grabe, solid. Solid, Ezra. Actually, diba I'm older than you, but most of the time, feeling ko kuya kita actually. Even in faith. So don't feel like dugyot ka or anything because you inspire some of us as well, especially with your story. It takes so much to make that decision, especially based on your story. You started young in trying to face life. Basically, parang na-rush nga, di ba? Na-rush mo yung life. But there's a certain amount of humility in you and acknowledgement about God that made you return back to Him. Which leads me to my question. Kasi, yun nga, at one point, di ba kasi, sabi mo nga, na-afford mo na yung lifestyle na pinili mo at that point. So basically, you had it already. So why did you make the decision to ask about your ate tungkol sa VBS, or why how did you get to that point na out of all the possible choices that you could make, you chose to be reintroduced to God? Yan.
Yes, so very interesting question, no? And then actually for me, I cannot really answer that question. Parang anong pumunta sa isip ko, bakit nasabi ko yun? Kasi at that time, I really felt I'm in a dark place na God, what will I do? I wanted to remove my vices. I wanted to go away from these practices. Uh, what's the step that I am going to take? Pero hindi ako nagko-converse kay God. It's just for me, parang reminiscing, no? So, ayun, parang andito lang ako sa bahay, nakaupo doon sa sala namin. Tapos tinawag ko yung ate ko, ate, di ba may VBS ngayong month? Pwede ba ako mag-join? So, I really don't know how did that happen. It's just for me, it's God's leading, I can say. Kasi yun nga, ayoko nang parang magde-decide ako, parang tatawagin ko ba yung mga kaibigan ko, parang may gawin ako o ganyan. Gusto ko na iwasan yung mga practices na ginagawa ganyan. So, ayun siguro, maybe it's God's calling me. It's my turning point to, yeah. So, ayun siguro yung the small seed starts to bloom. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow, I guess I can relate to that as well when I chose to own my faith. Hindi ko rin alam kung saan nanggaling. All I know is, gusto ko na ito na. And then, another question from me, and then siguro si Josh na yung susunod, is that, like you said a while ago, once you go stronger in faith, there are more temptations and they're stronger as well. What are your processes or principles or thoughts in order to avoid all the temptations? Kasi tinalikuran mo na eh. Basically, you have repented and left that life. And obviously, it's a struggle. And it's not just for you, but for all of us, it's really a struggle. So how did you overcome the struggle of saying no to temptations?
Okay, again, for me is that the way you think about your relationship with God, you think about that you're faithful. Can you really say that you're faithful? Ganun na. So, before I have two faces or three faces, kumbaga, iba't iba yung face na sinushow ko. And then sabi ko, hindi pwede. Kailangan, isa lang yung face ko as a Christian. So, yun. From my vices, yung stop ko na sila. So, naging totoo ko. Bakit mo tinigil? Because I am serving God. I believe God. Yun yung sinabi ko. And then, for the temptations that I came in, no, from, kasi there's our temptations pa rin that comes that I accepted my weakness, no, and then I rely on to the grace of God. And then another thing that helped me is that bringing it to God's people, kasi they can really encourage you, they can give advices to you, then they can stand beside you. Yun yung ano natin, no? Kaya wag po tayong matakot. Kumbaga, yes, I know that sometimes na tayo, we're ashamed, but biblically, it encourages us that we should say it to our brothers. We should open it to them as well. Kasi we're family. We work on together so that, and we are on the race together. We want na lahat tayo makatapos. So yun, mahirap siya. It been years before I overcome it. Pero gladly I didn't give up, and God didn't give up on me, and still we find a way for me no, to be able to overcome it. But still, sabi ko nga, there are still temptations and then struggles that will come. But yun nga, giving up is not an option because God will always provide help for all of us. Yeah.
So, nagno-notes. Pero ang ganda. Thank you, Ezra, for your answer. Lalo na dun sa part na where you said, because we want everyone, we want all of us to finish the race together. So, it's like you're taking one for the team. I'm gonna empty myself of myself so that we can all finish the race together. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Ezra. Josh?
Okay, hello. Yun, very nice story, Kuya Ezra. And that story was created by you in a way na you've decided to do something good. And with the grace of God, syempre. So, it's a great process from turning from one point to the other. Kasi sabihin natin, ang laki talaga nung changes sa buhay, no? Yung pagkatao mo when you knew Christ, di ba? From worldliness to someone holy. And yun yung ina-aspire natin bilang mga tao, 'di ba? From before we were sinners, 'di ba? But now under the grace of God, 'di ba? Malapit na tayo sa ating Panginoong Diyos. And that progress is very hard. And a lot of people, 'di ba? Marami na ring I know, even me personally, I know some people na gusto na nila maging Christian, pero hindi nila matigil yung mga worldly practices nila. Like sabihin nila na gusto ko maging Christian pero alam ko gagawin ko rin 'to, so wag na lang, parang nakakahinayang lang or sayang lang, baka di ko mapanindigan ta's magmumura pa rin ako ganyan, or inom pa rin ako ganyan, palalasing. So in a way, 'di ba, it's a progress. And for you, yung progress na yun, paano mo siya na-overcome by not giving up midway? So medyo related rin na rin 'to sa na-share mo kanina, pero ganda lang kasi na lalong ma-focus dun 'no, or lalong mabigyan ng attention yung part na yun. Kasi nga yung mga tao na it's like midway magi-give up na kahit hindi pa tapos yung progress, kasi una eager na magbago, patuloy sa Panginoon, pero nung dumating na ulit yung mga pagsubok, parang nawala na ulit. So what can you say about that?
Oh, so thank you, Josh, for the question. So for me, yung process ko naman ba't hindi ako nag-give up is that I look on to my old life. Sabi ko, this life that I have right now in God, anong buhay pa meron kung tatalikuran ko siya? So yun lagi yung nasa isip ko nun, na sa tuwing magi-give up ako, sabi ko, God, saan ako pupunta? Babalik ba ulit ako sa dati kong gawain? Kasi kung nasa worldly perspective ako, magtatrabaho ako, magkakaroon ako ng pera, I'll have a family, gagastusin ko to para sa kanila, gagastusin ko sa mga bagay-bagay. So ganun lang yung magiging cycle na gusto kong ituro sa mga pamilya ko up unto the next generation. Na ito yung cycle ng buhay. Buhay ka, mag-aral ka, magtrabaho ka, gawin mo kung anong papasaya sa'yo, magmahal ka, bumili ka kung anong gusto mo, and then yun na. So sabi ko, yun ba yung buhay na babalikan ko? It really feels empty, kumbaga, na ganun yung babalikan ko. So sabi ko, Lord, wala na akong buhay na babalikan. Ikaw lang yung buhay ko, sabi ko. So sana hindi ka mag-give up sa akin. Tulungan mo pa rin ako sa mga pagkakataon to, sa paghihirap. So yun yung naging naging view ko, na I didn't give up on it because there's no life that I can turn back on. Because the only life, yung sabi nga, Jesus Christ, di ba, I am the way, the life, and ano yung isa? The way, the truth, the life. Yun, truth, way, and life. So, andito na ako. So, wala na akong pupuntahan. So, yun yung naging mindset ko to be able to go on.
All right, thank you for that, Kuya Ezra, no? And we've learned so much for this night about your story, and it's truly inspiring na sabi nga natin kanina, from complete turn away, no? From worldliness to someone holy, to God. So, I hope this brings an inspiration to all of us. So, for our takeaways, no? Siguro, tanong muna natin si Ate Cass, kumaga, anong nakuha natin for this night with regards to Kuya Ezra's story?
Ang dami actually kasi from his young life, there were already so many lessons to learn from. Like, it starts with him trying to take control of his life early on, and then in the end, he surrendered everything to God. Yung sobrang heavy contrast of that, that's so amazing. Early, trying to control his life, and then early, ngayon, nag-surrender na rin siya. And then, his humility, and he allowed God to work in his life. Kasi at that moment when he was sitting sa sala ba? Basta dyan sa bahay niyo, you had so many choices to make at that time. Pwedeng yun nga, barkada mo or anyone else, but you chose God. And I hope na when God crosses our minds, He will be always our first choice, just like Ezra did, because that one choice changed him. And then, next is the grace from God na sinabi ni Ezra kanina. Truly, God is graceful. And Ezra also saw that in the fellowship that he experienced when he attended the VBS. So let's try to extend that same grace then to everyone, because we never know. Parang si Ezra, sabi nga niya, he felt so down about himself na he felt so filthy or something like that. But if you extend grace and genuine fellowship with one another, everyone will feel like home. That just like how we feel about Jesus. And then yung last is Ezra is now living for God purposely. So that's what for me, yun yung pagkakaintindi ko, no, that's one of the biggest changes that happened to you, which made all of your decisions easier, I guess. Yung parang, eto, hindi ko na to gagawin, eto, hindi ko na to gagawin. Because I have a life more meaningful and more purposeful in God. And I think that's beautiful. Especially nung sinabi mo yung, I'm quoting yung kanina, Lord, wala na akong babalikan. Ikaw na ang buhay ko. That's so beautiful. Ayan, for my takeaways.
Yes, the same. Thank you, Ate Cass, for that. Actually, very catchy line yan, Kuya Ezra. And yes, the same as well for me, na talagang God can change anyone. I remember the story of Paul, before he was a murderer of Christians, di ba? Pero later in his life, he pioneered the early church. Laki na nagawa niya for the people of God. And yes, that's the same for us, no? Na kahit sino pa tayo, kahit anong background natin, God can always change us. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, sabi nga ni Kuya Ezra kanina. At talagang, if you have the conviction, if you have the resolve to have this good decisions in your life, lalong-lalo na sa patungo sa ating Panginoon, walang imposible para magbago ka kahit ano pa yung mga nagawa mo before. And magkakaroon ka ng maganda buhay sa ating Panginoon. Diba? We are reborn in Him. We have this new life kung saan punong-puno ng pagmamahal at pagpapala. So sana yun yung i-look forward natin. And that's my takeaway for this night. And with that said, Kuya Ezra, before tayo magtapos, no, since 8 o'clock na rin. So, what short message can you give to everyone who is listening for tonight? No? Sige.
Short message that yung sabi kasi ni Jesus Christ, if you have faith like mustard seed, it can move mountains. No, you say to the mountains, move it here or there. So, for me, naging ano yun sa akin, no? Parang naging illustration siya na just a little openness from your heart with regards to the gospel of Jesus Christ, then you'll see the work of God, no, in your life. So, ganun lang po na i-open. Because if we close, immediately reject Jesus Christ or God, then that's it. But yung konting open lang from our heart, no, then that faith, you can see yung sabi niya, you can move mountains or here. Not literally, but how your life will be moved by God, no. So I hope, and that's what I always pray, no, na for people just to open their heart, even if that's just a small opening. God can pierce through that if you only open your heart. So, ganun yung nangyari sa akin na yes, I was against. Nagsasabi pa ako nun ng mga against Christianity na bakit yun ganun. Parang corny yung mga yun. But wow, a small opening from my heart did change me from where I am today. So, yes, I hope when praying, no, for everyone. And that, will you pray with me as well, no? That, kasi there's still people, a lot of people who haven't heard the message or the gospel. Thank you.
And thank you, Solid. Thank you so much, Brother Ezra. Thank you, Josh and Casimir, for such a wonderful sharing and dialogue for tonight. And hope to see you again next Sunday for another dialogue. If you missed this episode, balikan nyo lang po. Once we close this, you can watch the replay of this episode. See you again next Sunday for another episode of Christian Dialogue. Yan, pahabol na comment from Mao. You are a living testimony, bro. The U-turn you've made is worth it. Praise God. And yung isang sinabi niya, seeds are planted by God as early as they attend Sunday school classes or VBS. It makes a big difference. Ezra went back. And of course, good evening po sa mga andito. Kung andito pa po kayo, good evening to every one of you. And of course, shout out to your girlfriend, soon to be wife. Yes, Kana. We're proud of you. Praise God for His leading. So thank you so much, everyone. God bless you all. And if you have time later, 9 to 10 p.m., join us on daily hours as we read, reflect, and respond to the greatest story ever told. We started the new series last night, and that is the book of Genesis. Hope to see you there. God bless. Let's keep on living the word in our lives. Thank you, everyone.